Okay, it's about ready to start, and it is just about 4:30. I'll give a couple minutes more to get some more people on, and we're looking forward to a great session today that's going to help you in a lot of different ways. And in just a second here, I'll turn my camera on and kind of see you face to face. But in the meantime, as people come on, I want to welcome them. We've got Brett Davis, Gary Felton, Ron. I'm assuming there's a couple of different Rons that I know. And man, I can't see the bottom of my screen to see. There's a ton of people coming on. So we got Mike, we got lots of people in the room. And so it's about time to go ahead and start our session. So I'm going to go ahead and let me put up my camera real quick here so I can say a friendly hello. Hello, how's it going? Good to see you guys. And we are going to go through quite a bit of stuff today, and it'll all be stuff that you can use and take away from this and be able to apply what we've given you for the elite group. So welcome. And I have a list of things we're going to cover. It's the same things we talked about in the email, plus a couple other things as well. But essentially, we want to make sure you know, as you're using this group, we want to make sure you use it to the best of your advantage. And what we do know is that history shows with those who have used Piranha marketing strategies, the deeper their engagement with their peers, the better the results they get. And so, by the way, you might be wondering, I'm sitting in my home today doing this broadcast. It's a nice, quiet place to do it, and it's easier. The office is full of distractions. If you've ever been to the Piranha marketing office, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been, you got to come down there because Joe has filled it with crazy stuff that is like engaging and amazing. But at the same time, we do get a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic, and there's a lot of employees working at the office. And so I wanted to broadcast here from my home, which is out east of Tempe in Avondale, Arizona. And so welcome. It looks like we've got quite a few people on, and we've got Paul Brown, welcome, and welcome. And I think I might have already said hello to Jody and a few others. And if I missed your name, I'm sorry. But I wanted to go ahead and get started and let you know that what we're going to cover tonight is going to do specifically with some of the different aspects of the strategies that are in the Elite Group online portal, how to use them and in what situation to use them. We're also going to talk about how to make use of your peer group, which is a great way. You know, what you're doing right now is a great way to do it. But there are other ways within the online portal to do that, to have interaction and to get the support that you need from not only the peer group, but the staff here at Piranha. Also, we're going to talk about, it's a really simple concept, but it's a great way to scale your marketing. And if you don't have this idea in place, a lot of people will put their marketing out there and kind of fail to keep doing it or fail to keep growing their marketing for their business in an exponential way. So to help you to do that, and then talk about an incentive for logging in and for being, interacting with the group like this. And then of course we are here to answer questions. As I say that, let me make sure and see if we have anything that we can address immediately before we start. As I look at the chat here, I see Ron is working on getting out the pink flyers, which is and 5 rounds, which is both great strategies. Jason is checking out Mailings Unlimited, or he's telling people to check it out because they have the pink flyers. And we'll talk about these. It looks like Kara has a question about the pink flyers as well. And so let me see if there's anything else here before we get started. This is great. So, contributing like this and talking with your peers is going to help you, and we'll show you in other ways as well, because this is a great session, and I'll keep my eye on the chat roll as we go to see if there's anything that we can help you with specifically. But before we get started, as we get started, what I'd like to do, I'm going to send us over to and share the screen with with everybody here and show what's happening on the Elite Group portal so that we can really take a good look at where to start when you're working on the Elite Group portal. Let me see if I can kind of resize the screen to get the maximum capacity, or whatever you want to say. Okay, so there's a couple of things here. First and foremost, I like to let people know where to start when it comes to the elite group portal and where to get the most out of the strategies that are in here. And I'm having a little difficult time. Give me 1 second here because I want to pull this screen over so I can show you what I'm talking about. Tonight, what we're going to do is look at the early access here, the top rich cleaner strategies. We're going to go through, briefly go through these and talk about the application to the type of business that you might have or the stage that your business might be in. So this will take just a few minutes, and stick with me because after we do this, we're really going to focus in on the way to scale and increase your business using marketing. But first and foremost, let's take a look. If we are, clicking in here to the early access area of the top rich cleaner strategies, we put these in here and release them early because these are literally the top ways to get the most results for your business quickly. And if you took a cross section of any of the successful cleaners in Piranha Marketing or people who have been using Piranha Marketing strategies, you'll find that those who are like crazy successful have at least these strategies in place, and in some cases only these strategies in place. So you could build your entire business and marketing strategies based on just these few things here in the top rich cleaner strategies. Now here's where we're going to focus. Let's take a quick look at the 3-sequence promotion. Now, actually, I'm not even going to click in there. I just want to talk about it so you know how this applies in your business. Now, to veterans who have been around Piranha Marketing, they know the 3-sequence promo is a staple. They know how it works. And it's a real easy way, if you're just getting started, even on a shoestring budget with your marketing, the 3-sequence promo is one of the best ways to kind of get your feet wet, so to speak. And the reason is because the 3-sequence promo, and just to describe it, without going into depth, it's essentially 3 letters that go out in sequence, like it describes, over the course of about 6 weeks. The promotion itself offers 1 room of free carpet cleaning. And the reason that this is so successful is because, A, it's really inexpensive to implement when you initially start out. And if you haven't, by the way, I'll back up here for a second. If you have the cash to invest and you really want to scale the 3-sequence type of a promotion, I highly recommend using the Every Door direct mail strategy. And for a moment, I'm going to digress and go back up here to the top of the screen to the new strategies released quarterly. Okay, that's where you're going to find all of, like it describes, the newer things we're talking about in regard to Piranha Marketing strategies. So the Every Door direct mail strategy is here. It's the second one down, and it's a great way to scale your business. It takes a little bit of an investment. So this is for people who maybe already have a pretty good established cash flow and can risk anywhere from $600 to $1,000. And I say risk, in other words, we're looking for a return on investment, but who can invest $600 to $1,000 in a strategy and watch it, come back 1 to 3, 1 to 4 return, and then reinvest that strategy again and again, which I'll talk about when we talk about scaling. So the Every Door direct mail strategy, the one here, is really the equivalent to the updated version of the 3-step letter or 3-sequence letter, which is here. So if you are tight on a budget and you've got to do a lot, you've got nothing but time on your hands because you're maybe just starting your business or your business is hit a lull, start with the 3-sequence promotion. It's simple. Everything you need is in here, including how to use the free room offer to make extra money. There's full tutorials, downloads, everything you need there for a starting business or somebody who's in a really bad cash flow situation to generate some extra cash flow. Once again, we're going to talk about what you do with that cash that you generate and how to scale a little later, or just a little bit into this session. And so let me see here. I'm going to go ahead, and it's great to see what some of the things people are talking about here on the chat roll. We got somebody, Jason wants to record a free recorded message. Kara's talking about how awesome the video on Every Door direct mail is, and Everybody loves the huge every door direct mail piece. This is great. So just want to kind of, let you know, you could probably see what your peers are chatting about, but in case, people who might have to watch this later, they couldn't join us live. I want to just let people know, what their peers are saying and make sure that, they're getting the benefit of that as well. So moving on, this is the second strategy down here is called the I Miss You promotion. Now, again, if you're a veteran of Piranha, these strategies are going to be, something you've used quite a bit, but I'd like to know, let people know who are just getting started and maybe even reiterate to those who are veterans and who are in our group, just how awesome these things are and just kind of refresh your memory on how these work. But the I Miss You promotion, excellent promotion if you have a database of existing clients. I mean, if you have that, this is where you need to start because it will generate the cash that will allow you to scale your marketing. Okay, and so the I Miss You promotion, very simply, it generates cash by reaching out to your past clients, sending them a free room offer again, and we show you how to leverage that, how to use it, and makes a ton of sense to get it going. Now, joint ventures. I'm going to move on because joint ventures, I want this section, really, the joint ventures are for people who want to build their list quickly. It is hands down the fastest way to build your list with new clientele. And to describe this in a nutshell, the joint venture takes other business owners who already have tons of clients that are in a similar industry, or they have clients that would likely hire you. In other words, they already have a good pool of customers that are using some sort of a service or have the discretionary income that you can identify just based on what that business owner does. You can tell that they would be your type of clients. You approach that business owner, offer to clean his carpets for free. Once he's seen how good your work is, you now offer to promote and give all of his customers 1 room of free carpet cleaning. So once again, you're going to see the 1 room of free carpet cleaning is the leverage point that we use. It's what Dan Kennedy, marketing legend and guru, calls the widget. And the widget really is what allows you to get your foot in the door into clients' homes that you never would have gotten into anyway. So joint ventures, an excellent way. And again, that's an inexpensive way. It takes a little bit of time to execute because you have to get the business owner on your side. You have to show them your service and then get them to mail out or give you the list if possible. But usually they'll want to mail out their customers your promotion. And we have all the samples, all the tutorials, everything you'll need to do that. Excellent way to pair with people that are already in your community, that already have an established relationship with their customers, and get the ball rolling quickly to get some cash generated with your marketing. And once again, all these strategies, the 3-sequence promo, the I Miss You promo, the joint ventures, and as we go on, are excellent ways to make sure that you put these into place not only just one time, but you get them established and then you keep the plate spinning, so to speak. So if you imagine each one of these as a spinning plate and you start your 3-sequence promo, it takes a lot of energy and effort to get that plate spinning and balanced. Now that's going, you can let it sit for a second while you work another promotion. And then you come back and you maintain it a little bit, but you have to keep all of these things going. So you build them in a way that allows you to duplicate the process, to make it as easy as possible, and it'll help in that way. So moving on, past joint ventures, we look at the Realtor Flyer. Instructions and downloads are there. The Realtor Flyer, again, can be a really inexpensive way. Most cities, and people that I've talked to, hundreds of Piranha clients all over the planet, have a service or someone who can accept flyers at a real estate agent's or a real estate office's desk, take those flyers and put them into the mail slots for the office building. So usually they're sitting, those mail slots are sitting right behind the secretary's desk when you go into a large real estate office. And, they may have 50 or 60 realtors that work there, and you can have those flyers inserted by the secretary, usually for free. So as long as you get the flyers printed up, you bring them to the secretary and you create a little route. You can hire somebody to do this. as hands-off as possible, as soon as possible, is what we recommend with any of these strategies. So, if you've already got cash flow and that's not that big of an issue, then create a system where you have somebody going and delivering these flyers for you. The full flyer, what it says, the downloads, the tutorials, everything is under that section, and it's a great way to generate cash. You have to be consistent with the Realtor Flyer. Everybody we've talked to that uses that, if you get that into the real estate office's box, one time is not going to do it. They need to see your flyer regularly. And Dean Jackson, who does the I Love Marketing podcast with Joe Polish, is the real estate guru, right? And I talked to Dean just recently. I was asking him, hey, how the timing on when these flyers are landing in the real estate agents' boxes, their mail boxes there in the office, how critical is that? And what he told me, he said, when a real estate agent lists a home, by the time they've listed it, which is usually, when people start to try to get the services done, like they'll look for real estate agents who've listed homes. He goes, by the time they've listed it, it's too late. He said they've already taken care of all those things, carpet cleaning, window cleaning, whatever they needed to do to get the house ready to list. So by being in the real estate agents' boxes, in there where they're looking for their mail daily, they'll get your flyer and be ready to use it before they list the home, and that's the strategy. So again, a really inexpensive strategy. You can use this, once if you're just starting on a shoestring budget, and you have like a 3-sequence promotion that you've done. Now you've got some extra cash to invest, which I'll show you again when we talk about scaling. You could start to use it for Realtor Flyer. If you've got cash flow already, man, simple. Get this thing out. You should be having somebody deliver those flyers to all the major real estate offices, and you do it weekly. I'm sorry, I think I kind of forgot to mention when that is. And so somebody's asking if they missed the webinar. By the way, if you are seeing a blank screen or anything like that, you simply need to refresh your screen. This is just a little housekeeping on the webinar when you're watching. If for some reason something freezes or it looks like you get booted out, refresh your screen and that should be no issue. Now, the bonus strategy that we see down here at the bottom is what everybody was talking about at the beginning of this session, which is the pink flyer. The big pink flyer is a great way to generate a ton of cash. I mean, you can turn off and on the amount of jobs you get simply by how many of these things you put out. What it does take is a little bit of cash investment to get it off the ground. This is an 11 by 17 double-sided flyer that's folded, and you can get them printed, pretty inexpensively, delivered pretty inexpensively. Some people do it themselves. We highly recommend hiring people to deliver it. In every city, you can usually find someone who's already delivering flyers. Look for the flyers that you see on your door. Have them just go and distribute them in the neighborhoods that you want. This is a great strategy because, again, all of these top 5 strategies, if you get them going, start where you need to, depending on your cash flow situation. If you've got an established cash flow, start with the pink flyer, start with the Every Door direct mail. Those are easy, they're scalable. Those are where you want to put your cash to get the investment back. So with that said, I'd like to talk to you about using the Elite Cleaners Group website to really get the support of your peers and to help grow your business exponentially. As I said at the beginning, when we were talking about really successful Piranha clients, the one thing that's in common that you'll find with Piranha clients that have a lot of success is that they are regular in their engagement with others of their peer group. And so the Elite Cleaners Group, that's what this is really about, is the support and using this in a way that's going to help you. So first and foremost, the most simple way, let's go into one of these strategies. The most simple way to communicate and get the support you need is the way that we've structured this website, which if we look at, let's use the Every Door direct mail strategy as an example, and we go into this strategy as it opens here. You'll see that we have the original video where we talked about this strategy, along with a video index, so you can see what sections you want to watch of the video that are really important for executing the strategy. So you don't have to watch the entire thing. I think it's like 2 hours long, but you can look through and see, the Q&A would be helpful, and the actual instruction from John Windler that happens here at the 1 hour mark, the review of the components of the Everydoor Direct Mail. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but definitely use, as you go into each of these different categories for what you're going to be working on, use the information we put down here so that you can get the best results. You can see here that, let's see, at the bottom is what I was going to get at. Okay, so here's all the instruction, all the steps, who you should contact, all that stuff. This is where you're going to find a ton of value, is in these comments sections. I highly recommend you read through these comments when you're ready to look at. There's 4 pages of comments, and use this section right here to say, hey, I have a question. And what happens when you do that, anybody else who's going into this section to work on it will see your question, and the question should be specific to this strategy. And then the peer, the staff members, I get it, Gina gets it, and others that are at Piranha Marketing can see your question and instantly answer you. This is the place, if you are working on a particular strategy, that you would utilize the staff in your peer group for that strategy. So you can see here, we have different interaction, with Jason Stallings, John Wendler. We've got just all sorts of interaction with the peer group that helps to get the best possible results. So I highly recommend, that's the #1 way that you can interact as you're working on a strategy. So I'm going to go back up to the top here, go back to the dashboard, and let me just take a second and see if there are. Okay, so great. People are still on the chat, still having questions. It looks like, Tim and Jason and Tom are talking about, let me see here. Okay, so there was, it's just some aspects of, what's working, what hiring, deliveries, that sort of stuff. So, take a look at the chat. And again, this will be available if you're watching this after the fact. What we're discussing, it will go right into, I might as well bring that up now, it'll go right into the monthly best practice sessions, where you can go and look at what it'll be like at the top right here, this Q&A session that we did, and you can look and be able to make comments on whatever, on this video here at the bottom. So you'll be able to have your own questions and comments as well if you weren't able to attend this live. However, let me go back to what I was discussing, which is communicating with your peer group, making sure that you're using this thing in the right way. Let me show you the second way, which we've talked about and we've seen a lot of activity on. This is great, which is the Elite Forum. So the Elite Forum allows for you to do a couple of things in regard to interacting with your peer group. You have a general Q&A section that we created, where you can come in and you can create new topics, which it looks like people have been doing by simply going, let me see. Oh, here it is. Add a topic. So if you look in here and you don't see a section under the Q&A that answers, or that looks like something you would want to ask your question under, then you go ahead and you can just click a new topic and start a new line. And when you do, you click make a new topic, it'll look like this. You can make a comment, and your peer group will see your new comment. Let me go back out to the Elite Forum. Your newest comments are here on the right. So you can see we had a topic that was created about website management. We've got 12 people in there, talking about how to do that. Somebody did use my topic, which was start here, and basically asked a good question. So these are a great way to interact with your peer group. And once you're on one of these topics, any comments that happen thereafter, you get notified of. So definitely take advantage of the Elite Forum to answer your questions, to come up with questions, to make suggestions. That's where the majority of the activity when it comes to interaction with your peers is going to happen, is on the Elite Forum. Now, the other way that you can interact with your peers, and this is the last way we'll talk about, is by going here to going to the dashboard. If you go to your profile, first and foremost, you should set up your profile which I probably haven't even done completely myself. Well, no, it looks pretty good. Put your picture in, put the name that you want people to see you as. Make sure you give a little bio about what it is that you do and where you are in your business. And there's a reason for this. I'll show you in a second. And anything that can help, your Facebook profile, LinkedIn, all those different things. And the reason is because if you go back here, we got to this profile from the dashboard by going to edit profile. Since somebody sent me a message, I don't know, these little messages right here, these are important because you can private message people. And it's real easy. Like, you can look here, go to users. If you want to find somebody in particular, I can go to Jason. It'll bring up all the Jasons there are in the group. And then I can say, hey, I want to message this person. And you can start interacting with your peer group that way too. So if you're shy, and your public questions you feel might be, embarrassing or not worth hearing, which is not really usually not the case. But in other words, you can interact privately with each other. It's a full social site, so you can make use of it in that way. So that is the ways that you can really make use of the portal itself, the strategies that are on there. So now what we're going to talk about is how to scale this, how to really make a difference with your marketing. So, here's what we find. And while I'm here, I'm going to look and see if there's any other questions in regard to chat. Doesn't look like it. We're doing pretty good. Here's the deal. You're going to start marketing. You're going to start getting jobs. And as you get these jobs, we want to make sure that it's not just like a firecracker where you're like, oh, cool, I got a few jobs. And the marketing process, it becomes an event instead of an entire process. So to be clear about that, here's what, give you an example. Here's what happens a lot of times. People will go put out a promotion. They get a few jobs from the promotion. They go, oh, cool, that worked. It paid off the promotion or whatever. Or they just used that money and used it in their cost of goods. And now they're kind of back to square one. And they don't have any more money than when they, seemingly than what they started. So let me show you what I mean. Let's see here. If we look at your typical business, give me a second to catch up here so I can get this up and running. Okay, so if you look at typically, here's a business that's starting to grow and trying to grow and expand. You've got the gray blocks here represent the work you already have. The empty areas would represent the work that you are trying to get to grow your business, right? Now, here's the thing, is with the work that you have, most likely you have the cash to cover your current cost of doing business with your schedule as it sits right here. And you're going to come up with a way to invest. Now, in this example, we're going to talk about investing in marketing and spending $1,000. Okay, so when you go and you spend $1,000, ideally you'll get a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or higher return on that investment, which means that you would get about $3,000 in jobs. Okay, so you spend $1,000, you make $3,000 back. And of course, I'm using, maybe $1,000 is more or less than what you would want to invest at the moment, depending on the situation in your business. Again, this is just an example. If you're starting on a shoestring budget, you don't have to spend $1,000. You can spend less. But the scalability, which is what we're talking about, totally applies. So here's the deal. When you go to scale your business, or when you get these jobs, let me start there. You start to plug in these extra jobs into the empty spaces in your week. So, those green bars that we see there start to fill in the schedule, and you start to get more money. Now, here's the important part. Again, simple concept, but you want to track each job that is a direct result of that promotion. Okay, so it's that way it doesn't get mixed up with your normal, your normal cash flow that you have. You want these particular jobs, each job, to be tracked, so that you can see exactly the money that's coming from it. Take that money and don't spend it on cost of goods. So look, say for example, you're doing the 3-step sequence, and you're having those hand delivered to a neighborhood, and you get you get a few free rooms and you get a big $500 job and a couple of, $100, $200 extra jobs. You take that money and you pay back the cost of what, your investment and get it in what it took to generate those jobs. Do that first. Don't use that money that you generate on anything else if it's possible. Sometimes we have to use it to pay the bills or whatever it is. Use as little of it as you can and pay back the promotion first, okay? Now, when you do that, there should be additional revenue than what you paid in. Like in this example we talked about $1,000 invested, $3,000 over a few weeks made back. So continue to track the additional revenue that's generated from that promotion. When you do that, set it aside. So in this example, you're going to track 2,000 additional collected. So you invested 1,000, you made 3,000 back total, and so you should have 2,000 additional collected. Now this is how you scale: is you take that $2,000 and you repeat the process. And you do that. You keep plugging back you keep paying back the money that you invested, taking the extra and reinvesting it so that you can really grow your business in an exponential way. You reinvest it into the same strategy or different strategies, the top 5 strategies, whatever they are, until you've plugged your week full of those extra jobs. So the key thing here to remember is that in order to increase exponentially is you really need to be disciplined in paying back what you invest first, setting aside the additional revenue that comes back from that promotion specifically, and then reinvesting in a larger amount of money the second and the third time. So as you do that, you can really scale your business and it will grow exponentially. I mean, when I look back at my personal story, that's what we did. When I look back at the scores, if not hundreds of others that I've personally talked to that have grown their business in an exponential way, is they scaled their marketing in this simple way that I'm teaching you. So what we'd like to talk about now is just some of the questions that we have and some of the incentives we have for logging in. So this is great. Dan Dolman, he put this question, to me, and I thought it would be okay to share this with the group members. And it's important because, Dan says, I'm also hopeful that more members will open up discussions on the forum. So at this live chat forum, which is what we're doing right now, he'd love to see if we can get a commitment from our elite group members to share weekly updates on our progress and strategy implementation. I love Dan's attitude. Count me in. I'm 100% committed. This is great. So in regard to this, here's what we would love to see happen. For an incentive for participating in the group, because here, the thing is, we know that when people participate, their business grows exponentially. Again, that's a historical fact. When we look at the most successful Piranha clients, it directly relates to how involved they are in the peer group that we've created for them. So what would be awesome is it takes 21 days to build a habit. And I don't know if you've ever done this yourself. I've done it multiple times and know, very, very successful people that use this habit or this way of building a habit, which is to take 21 days, mark them out on the calendar, and check them off on whatever habit you're trying to either break or create. So in this case, we're talking about building a habit of logging on once per day to the Elite Cleaners group and commenting. So also, if you take, and you did that, for 21 days in a row, you took 5 minutes out of your day and you logged on to the Elite group, looked at the forum discussion, commented, read a couple of things, put a comment on there, something that, it doesn't have to be this profound comment, just something meaningful, something that, has to do with what people are talking about on whatever subject you find. If you did that once per day for 21 days, you'd get in the habit of really being where the conversations, the most important conversations you can be having are, which is here on the Elite group, talking about ways to grow your business. Making that commitment, we're not talking about a huge commitment here, but doing that 21 days in a row will only really benefit you. We're going to give you an incentive to do it. to build that habit for 21 days. If you log in once per day, and you have to fill out your profile like I had showed you just a few minutes ago. If you're able to do that once per day for 21 days, and we see your comments coming across for 21 days in a row, and you've filled out your profile, and you do that, and you get in the habit, here's what we're going to offer you for free: a 30-minute one-on-one marketing consultation. Now, here's the thing: is with the elite group, we do a lot of group sessions like this, but we fully realize and fully understand that a lot of our group members are needing some very specific direction. So aside from getting specific direction through the answers on the elite forum, through the answers from the staff, through the comments section on each strategy you're working on, I will actually be the one, either Joe or myself, most likely me, but there's a chance Joe, you could get Joe on this as well, is a marketing consultation. Now, 30 minutes, we put it at a $250 value because that's what I currently charge for a one-on-one consultation. This will be no charge to you if, again, you go and do what we had suggested. You build the habit, log in 21 days in a row, comment, and fill out your profile. Pretty simple, and a really, really good value for the time that you spend. It's going to benefit you in two ways. One, you're going to get very engaged with your elite peer group and be part of some conversations that are going to help your business to grow in an exponential way. And then on top of that, we're going to be happy to help you one-on-one to make sure you get exactly what you need tailored for your specific business as you go. So pretty cool stuff. I wanted to make sure and give you that information. And now, what I'll do is I'm going to open this up to some specific questions that you guys might have as you're listening to the live presentation. If you're listening to this after, as a replay on the Elite Group site, please take a moment if you have a specific question and go ahead and leave it in the comments section below the video where this is posted. So for now, if you have specific questions about what we've been talking about, please go ahead and you can type them into the chat box, and I will go ahead and begin to answer those now. And first and foremost, I know we had some specific questions here from Todd at All Flooring Design. He wanted to know, he said his regional supplier has been very helpful to get us going, but confidence will be needed to really promote and market. He said, any guidance in startup, rates, add-ons, cleaning detail resources would be appreciated. And he also wants to cross-brand marketing, his marketing strategy in his retail flooring business. We have people in the group right now that are doing exactly that. They're taking and using this marketing to brand and using strategies, using these strategies to cross-market different brands or different services. Jason Stallings is a great example of that, Pop's Floor Care, and many, many others. And it really is an easy thing to adapt the strategies that we have for different promotions. Let me show you something in the Elite Group portal that we started, which is a great way to get your questions answered. So give me a second here. I'll pull that back up. The Elite Group is here. And I'll show you in the Elite Forum. Oops, I got to click on the actual thing. Hang on a second. In the Elite Forum, we put in a section where you can get your questions answered, or marketing critiques. So if you are cross-marketing, or you're creating a strategy that you're just not sure, you want other people to look at it and give their input and guidance, we have a marketing critique section now. So you see where you click on it, it says request your critique here. And all you need to do is make a comment and say, hey, I have I've got something I want to have done. And here you can see Jason Stallings did it. He says, I have a partner business that sells services, vacuum cleaners. I was given his top customer list for 1,400 names and addresses. I made this letter to send his customers, and I want to critique on what everybody thinks. We took his flyer, his information, we contacted him, and we posted it so that you can now go and look at his 3-sequence letter, and you can give your critique on it. You can give your input. So this is a newer section of the forum. we want you to use it, utilize it. What a great way to get your uncertainties answered about your marketing piece. So just wanted to share that with you really quickly as well. And so let me see, there's more questions. And if you give me another second, I will get back to the screen that I need to share with you. Okay, so we answered, and as far as startup, we talked about that on this webinar. So Todd got his question answered in regard to that. And hopefully if others of you have that same question, that answered it well. And so let's take a look then at the next slide. This is one maybe we can put out there and see if anybody on here is using Infusionsoft. Now, Infusionsoft is a customer management software. Very, very powerful program. I know there are a couple of people using it. If you are, you can give a shout out and let us know if you're satisfied or not. But let me go back to the chat and see here if we have some questions here. Okay, cool. Here we go. So Jonathan wants to know, can you explain to the group how to determine, this is a great question, who the top 20% of your clients are? So yeah, let's talk about that. Here, let me go ahead and get off of this little box and I'll just talk to you. So specifically the top 20% of your customers. First and foremost, you can probably think of the people that are the most enjoyable clients that use you. You can think of what those jobs look like, how much they pay you, how often they use your services. And you can start, that's where it starts, because you want to profile who your ideal client is. And it helps you in a number of different ways. Of course, it helps you to target more customers just like them, but it helps you to also appreciate those people. Who are those target lists? And really it just starts with profiling that 20%. So the 20%, let's see, because you're asking how do you determine it? And let me know if you need more clarification. Use the chat box and communicate with me that way. But if you're determining who they are, that would be it, is to go through. And sometimes it takes a little bit to really categorize them and section them off in your list, because ultimately that's what you'd like to do, is you'd like to be able to easily, once you know the type of client that really meets your criteria for, frequent cleaning, for highest job ticket, easiest to deal with, maybe it's the type of homes or the amount of referrals. Usually it's a combination of all those things that say, you know what, I know that the top 20% of my income comes from this, this type of a person. Then you can easily identify others. And really you want to section those people off in your list, because those are the people that you want to spend the most time and money on. Really, you want them to feel welcome. You want them to be appreciated. You can even do customer appreciation days for those group of people and watch your business explode. That's a specific strategy that if you're on this webinar, you're listening to this video, and you want that strategy, let me know and I can send that to you. You can simply either private message me. You can actually, I prefer that we start a topic on the Elite Group forum that says, hey, tell me about a client appreciation day and how I can use that for my top 20% and what that can do for my business. So hopefully that answers your question. Another question we have from Paul. Let's see. For EDDM, would anyone recommend the big pink flyer or the big pink flyer piece? Or the big flyer piece that Joel, that I showed at Vegas. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. There's a fellow Jason D, who's on here, I think right now. Got to look. We have a huge list of attendees. He was on at the beginning. I'm sure he's still around. So definitely, Jason is using the big pink flyer and having that delivered as an Everydoor direct mail piece. Using Mailings Unlimited and getting really good results with that. So, any of these things can be adapted. There's two aspects of the strategies we give you. One is the actual copy that creates the promotion, which is really important. It has all the elements you need to get a good response. And second is, how you get that message out. So there are so many different ways to get the message out. We try to make it as paint by number easy for you and just kind of say, look, if it's the big pink flyer, it gets tucked into the door. Well, the big pink flyer, that message is a great message, and it can be used as every door direct mail. It can be used as a web page on your website. It can be all the information. The copy is the most important part of that, and it's just a matter of getting that message in front of your clients in as many different ways as you can. So a lot of times what you'll see is very similar messaging, but just different delivery aspects. So in other words, they are delivering, one might come as a flyer on the door, one might come in the mail, one might come as a web page or an audio message, or just tons of different ways to deliver it, a Facebook post, so that it all leads to the same message, which is ultimately your sales pitch. So the pink flyer and the every door direct mail piece were designed to take a cold prospect, somebody who didn't know anything about your business, and warm them up so that they are ready to go. So let me look and see. There's an answer here about Infusionsoft, because somebody was asking about that particular software. Jason says Infusionsoft is a fantastic tool to use in any business. It's designed to support all the strategies in the Piranha system. He highly recommends it. Here's the thing: Infusionsoft is amazing. It's what Piranha Marketing uses when we email you or when we send out a promotion. Everything goes through Infusionsoft, and the reason why, it's just an easy way to track people. But there are lots of different software programs out there, and if we, to recommend one would be like trying to recommend one vehicle for everybody to drive. They are literally that varied, and so depending on what kind of driver you are and what you enjoy about a vehicle is, what depends on what we would recommend. And so really I would take a look at Infusionsoft. I'll tell you the top ones we see come across that people ask about are Infusionsoft and our Service Monster. And also we see people using as simple as QuickBooks, which is great for tracking things, but it's not, it's not the greatest marketing program. So just take a look at what's out there. Service Monster, Infusionsoft, QuickBooks, not necessarily in that order, but take a look and see. So I'll see also if there are any other questions that we have. Let me scroll through and take a look and see of the people that are on right now. And don't be shy. Go ahead and ask away anything you want to know. It doesn't have to necessarily be about what we've talked about on this Hangout so far. You're welcome to type and send a message in. And going back to going back to what we were looking at here, which was this Infusionsoft question. I think there was another question here. No, let me see here. Oh, by the way, if you happen to stumble onto this webinar and you are not part of this group, but you're going, wow, this is really cool, how do I get to be a part of it? Just go through the application process here at richcleaner.com/elite. And take a look at what's there, because really, if you are trying to grow your business and you want to use marketing that works and have all the support of a group to do it, go there, take a look at what's, that'll help you describe what's going on. It'll help you see what we've been talking about. It'll help you to see specifically what's going on with this elite group, is what I meant to say. Let's see. And so here's a question that just came in from Brett. He said, can anyone provide a ballpark estimate for flyer delivery charges? So he wants to know, quantity breaks based upon committing to a 3-sequence promotion over 6 weeks. I mean, great question. Really, it probably depends on your area and what the employment situation is like, and whether there is a service that exists. We've seen, personally in our business, flyer delivery for around 20 cents a piece when we're doing the 3-step sequence. So we would have people who had regular routes that would do flyer delivery, not flyer, but the actual envelope delivery for the 3-sequence promotion. And making sure that those people there, you have to set up a system so that a check and balance system. You can't just pay somebody and expect them to do it. Unfortunately, you really have to set up a check and balance on how to do it. But 20 cents is what we paid and felt was fair for the per piece for having an independent person go and deliver the 3-sequence letter. Now, if you're talking about, a flyer company that's delivering your pink flyer individually, or maybe in a packet of other flyers, I'm sure that the price per piece would go way down, somewhere in the 5 to 10 cent range. But really, that would be a ballpark estimate. But ultimately, you should go and check your area and see what, and it comes down to two: what are you willing to pay? What are you willing to pay or invest? What makes it worth it? So, if you have a flyer that's costing you 15, 20 cents to print and, 10 cents to deliver, and you're delivering 1,000 of them, let's say that's $250 delivered. It doesn't take much to get a return on investment for that. So, or I might have done my math wrong. $2,500. Yeah. So, well, it would take a few jobs. So you would want to know, okay, well, is that worth it? Do I invest $2,500 and do, what would I have to make back? So ultimately, shop around, look and see what you can get done for cheap, but also reliable. Set up systems so that you can get checks and balances. Okay, Derek, I'll skip the first part, but he says, anyway, it says, let's see, it says, any way you want to cover the high points of the Vegas presentation. Oh, and by the way, there's Jonathan contributing, saying 15 cents a piece to a retiree who need the income. So right in that ballpark for delivering flyers. Okay, so the Vegas presentation, we are taking that recording and we will be delivering that to every single one of our elite group members for your enjoyment and for your recap. And we'll also be delivering that to those who wish they could have been there and didn't make it. We'll give them the presentation, and some of the cool freebies and different things that we offer might not be available to everybody who watches it. But yes, you will be able to see that again. Okay, Tim has a question. He said he wants to be a little more clear. Would hiring a delivery service be a better way for a 9-10 rating deliverer than Craigslist? And if so, where can we find one? Wow. Okay, that depends entirely on the town that you're in as to where you can find one. And, Craigslist works great as long as you have a vetting process. So, when you vet someone, you make sure that they know that exactly, who they are, what they've done in the past, they've got references, that sort of thing. You can use great marketing on Craigslist to find flyer delivery people. I mean, essentially, you can run an ad that says something to this tune. Now, you have to adjust it for your area and for what you're willing to pay per piece, but typically people can deliver about 100 flyers an hour. So, we would run an ad that said, make $15 to $20 per hour delivering flyers in nice neighborhoods. Get exercise, etc. And we actually created a free recorded message to promote that particular strategy for deliverers. So in other words, somebody would see that ad on Craigslist. Instead of calling us directly, we used good marketing. And we've seen other people do this too. They call a 1-800 number. The 1-800 number directs them and paints a beautiful picture of what it's like to make $15 to $20 an hour and, what's entailed. And then toward the end of the message, after you've really sold the job and told them, why it's a great thing, tell them what your qualifiers are, what you're looking for. Are you going to require that they fill out a resume and send the email to a specific email? Whatever it may be. Let's use the sift, sort, and screen process of marketing to find great delivery people. And, the 9-10 star rating really comes from you're gonna get that by finding out who they are, what references they have, and then creating a great checks and balances system. So when they finish a neighborhood or finish a route, they go and they have to text you, or and it has to be within 5 to 10 minutes of them finishing the route. Something that allows you to create a system around the delivery. So I know, flyer deliveries, has always been, how do you implement that? How do you get somebody to do it regularly? They're great questions and they've existed forever. But the thing is there's always a way, and you can create a system around it. The more systematized, the better, so that you can make sure your flyers are being delivered and you have a checks and balance system. So hopefully that answers your question, Tim. Also, Kara has a question. Would you do the pink flyer in addition to the 3-step or as one of the 3-step flyers? Excellent question. So here's the thing. What you're going to find is as you start to put out different marketing pieces, they're going to overlap. So the same prospect may see 1, 2, or even 3 different promotions in different facets. So, whether it be they saw your pink flyer, then they happened a few months later to get a 3-step letter, or even the same week they happened to get both. The pieces will start to work together to actually boost your response. So let's say normally on your 3-step letter, you had a 1 to 4 response. So for every $1 you spent, you made $4 back. Well, now all of a sudden, the route of your pink flyer delivery just so happened to overlap one of the neighborhoods that you were doing a 3-step sequence in. Well, now all of a sudden you might see, and by the way, and your pink flyer has its own return on investment. Maybe it's 1 to 5, 1 to 6, or maybe lower, 1 to 3, somewhere in that range, right? So they each on their own 2 feet have a certain level of response or a certain response return on the investment. But now if they overlap, you'll find each of those promotions will get a higher return on investment. So they work together, and the more different promotions that your customer sees, the better. So when it comes to Kara's question specifically, do you do one or the other, or do you do the pink? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, the pink flyers in addition to the 3 steps? Absolutely. And do the pink flyers, the best frequency for pink flyers that we found was hitting a neighborhood once every 3 months with pink flyers. So, if you've got 5 neighborhoods of 1,000 people, your deliveries should be, over so that that same group of 5,000 people doesn't see the flyer again for 3 months. But in the meantime, they might get your 3-step letter. So yeah. Good. It looks like we're answering the questions. Jason was saying you can use the pink flyer as a 3-step. Absolutely. Test it. There's nothing to say that you can't use the same exact flyer without any changes. Just hit them 3 times, once every 2 weeks and see. We're going based on records of what's worked in the past. The big giant pink flyer has worked well at a 3-month frequency for our company. For lots of other companies, seems to be working well as a 3-step letter for Jason. You can always tweak the headline, have a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd notice. That's really what makes the 3-step offer compelling, is that you're creating more and more urgency as the promotion goes on, showing that you're only going to have those available for a certain amount of time. So, I'll put it out there one more time that if I've left this up, this richcleaner.com elite, and great. And Brett says, thank you for the great vetting flyer delivery and ensuring accountability. So in other words, we were talking about how to make sure to get these deliverers and make sure they do what they're supposed to. Awesome. I'm glad that helped you. And hopefully that helped a lot of other people too, Brett. Was the other thing I was going to say. So we're getting close to wrapping this up, but I do want to say if there are any other questions, please put them out there. And then if you don't have them right off the top of your head, or as soon as we stop with the with the webinar, you go, oh shoot, I should have asked this. Ask it on the Elite forum. Go to the Elite group and and log in and go on the Elite forum and take a look at it. By the way, I think if you love what you're getting here at the Elite group and you want to share this with other people, click on the links in the webinar. I think that we have little links that you can share this on Facebook or tweet about it or whatever. Let people know, hey, I spent my my evening, an hour of my evening, working on my business and learning how to make it grow in an exponential way. And we the more people that are part of this group, the more people we can help to really up our industry. And so, I mean, to be part of this group is being not only, going to benefit you individually, but you're part of something that's bigger and better, which is really upping the game in our industry for creating and providing better services for what we do. And, we also, by the way, if you haven't gone to richcleaner.com, not the /elite, but just richcleaner.com. And if you take a look, we created a podcast. We've coupled or paired with Legend Brands, who's responsible for ChemSpec, Dry Ease, Microban, Sapphire Scientific, because those people really care about, they know how to make the cleaner successful with equipment and with training. We know how to make cleaners successful with good marketing so that they can use all that excellent equipment, training, and get the customers to stay in business longer. But ultimately, we want the industry to be a better place. We want to get rid of the bait and switchers. We want to get, help those people who really deserve to be at the top of their industry and their market to be there, and not be won out by somebody who's, got really poor skills and lame equipment and not doing what the industry best practices are. We want people who have both. They have good marketing skills to get the customers, that then those customers get the best possible services. So Legend Brands and Joe Polish and Piranha Marketing, we've created Rich Cleaner podcast. And if you have not started to listen to that, there are new episodes. And Tim is asking, are there new episodes? Yes, there will be new episodes weekly. We started with 3, and we are, releasing those week 1, week 2, week 3, of course, even though they're all there. And yes, we recently will have an episode, at the Sapphire Scientific plant. We've got an episode with Barry Costa and Jim. I forget his first name or his last name now, but with the CRSA. And we've got interviews with Clean Facts. And yes, every week we are putting together content that we know will help people in their business. And this is a way for you to listen to and get good engagement weekly. And again, it's a Rich Cleaner podcast. It's at richcleaner.com. So with that, I want to say thank you. And once again, if you're going, oh no, the webinar's ending and I didn't get to ask my question, go online and go to the Elite Group portal and ask your question there. We will be there to answer it. And we're always, your peers are there, the staff is there, we're there to support you. And I hope that you benefited from what we talked about tonight. And we look forward to putting this up also so that you can review it if you'd like to. And so that those who couldn't join us tonight can also get in there and take care of it. Encourage your peer group members to get online. Do the 21 days challenge where you go in and get online and comment for 21 days. And then we'll open up that marketing session one-on-one for you. So with that said, on behalf of the Rich Cleaner and the Elite Cleaners Group and Joe Polish, I want to say thank you for listening. And you know what? Let me just give you a quick shout out and tell you, enjoy the rest of your week. Make good practical use of what we talked about, and we will see you soon. All right. Take care. Thanks again.